today because, as I've discovered, I've left my bag at the beach house up in Khao. So I'm working on my iPhone, which now won't let me use it horizontally. So I'm vertical today. So I can't really do much about it because all I have is my iPhone. Luckily, I actually have my iPad here because I left my iPad here yesterday. So I was recording with Steve yesterday. So the microphone and my computer, laptop, all my notes and everything is all up at the beach house. So it's just me and you, which I suppose is what we like. Now, what I'm going to try and do is see if I can find you on my iPad. Oh dear, it's not here. I don't know how I'm going to do any messages today besides what I can read here. So we're in quite a difficult situation, and I'm not exactly sure what I can do. Now, I can actually read your messages from yesterday, and I can read the messages as they come up here on the phone. So I'm either going to have to read them here or I'm going to miss them. So we're in a little bit of a mess. So apologies, but we will try and answer any important questions you've got. Hi to Dave and John, I can see you there. I'm just not sure how this is going to work. And I'm surprised that the iPad won't show me. Sorry, I'm just working this out as I go. I'm pretty lucky that I had enough charge on the phone. In fact, I'm watching it. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get through an hour, but we'll see what we can do. Happy house moving. So thank you very much. Hi, Big Tony. Hi, the Snives. And we've got a message set for review. I can't do that. Peter, find your family, says good morning. Look, great to have you all here. And as I mentioned, I am trying to get to the comments short. I can go to live. Oh, I'm seeing if I can go live. So I can get live here. I can get the comments there. Okay, so we're doing okay. Oh, now I've got to turn the volume down. How do I turn the volume down? So I can get that turns the volume up. So that's all you've got of me today, and a photo up there of my old boat. I built that boat back in 1983. Designed and built it. Built it as strip plank cedar. Okay, so I've got the comments here. Crazy day it's going to be. Now I am moving. I'm moving from Phuket. I'm moving up to Phang to Thai Muang Beach, better known to some of you as Turtle Beach, where Steve Ross with an E lives. That's not the reason I'm moving there, but it was indeed Steve that introduced me to Turtle Beach. I think because I've got the phone like this, I can actually pick it up and show you the mess that I've got around the house at the moment. I've got stuff all over the place. So boxes, I mean, I'm sure you've moved before, you know what it's like, boxes everywhere. So it's going to happen tomorrow. Anyway, let's have a talk about why I'm moving. Well, the opportunity came up when I first met Steve. He said, oh, well, I'm not going to come to Phuket to record a program. You're going to have to come up here. So I traipsed up to Turtle Beach to record our first Grumpy Old Men. And I went, wow, I didn't even know this place was here, so close to Phuket. In fact, as I've said before, the Phuket airport is closer to my digs in Thai Muang Beach than it is to my house here in Phuket. And indeed, when you come out of the airport and turn left rather than right down to the craziness of Phuket, it's a much, much nicer drive as you head off the island, and open roads. It's double lane highway all the way. So a good drive up there once you get past the airport. And look, I have to say that there is absolutely no doubt that over the past 6 months, that there has been a sort of a profound change, evolution here on the island of Phuket. Now, that's not particularly the reason I'm moving. As I said, it was just an opportunity that came up when I found these beach houses. I'd been introduced to the beach, and I suppose I was ready for a move anyway. Now, I haven't been to any of the tourist haunts lately, but I mean, they're pretty busy. That's okay. They're designed to be busy. They're designed to cater for tourists. But around here, where I live in an area called Koh Kau, which is on the east side of the island, it's just become extraordinarily busy. Now, nobody's able to really give me a reason that makes much sense to me why. There are certainly more red-plated cars around, so there's more residents on the island. There's no doubt about that. And some people say, oh, it's because of all these Russians that arrived here. Well, I don't think, even with all the Russian people that have arrived here, that they only make up some 2 or 3% of the island's population. That wouldn't account for the amazing amount of traffic we've got. By the way, if it sounds a bit funny, it's because I'm using the microphone on the phone. I don't have my usual microphone here. Good morning from beautiful Hua Hin. Why the narrow angle? Reg, good, as I've explained, I don't have any choice. If I turn the phone around, my understanding is that it's going to go, it wouldn't allow me to do it any other way than vertical. Usually when I used to do these YouTube lives, I could do it any orientation that I wanted. But you've got the narrow view today. Hopefully it makes me look slim. Reg, has the boat got a famous winged keel that won the America's Cup? Now that's a very interesting point, because if I notice today's date, I think it's September the 23rd. Can't even check the date. Oh, there it is, September the 23rd. It was today in 1983, exactly 40 years ago, that Australia won the America's Cup. Now, just very, very quickly, the America's Cup was the longest standing sporting event in the world with an unbroken win. And the Americans had won it for, I think, 137 years before the Australians turned up in 1983 and they won the America's Cup from Dennis Conner and the New York Yacht Club. And indeed, it was a dark day for the New York Yacht Club and Dennis Conner. And these were raced in 12-metre yachts at Newport, Rhode Island. I was lucky enough to actually be there when it all happened, broadcasting for the Macquarie Network at the time. So, yeah, it was today, 40 years ago, that Australia won the America's Cup. That was actually a pretty big day in a little country like Australia. And it's become since then somewhat of a, well, they're sort of now racing in these amazingly, you know, these, what are they on, foils, they're catamarans, got winged sails, and they go extraordinary speeds, but it's sort of lost the luster. Big Tony, thank you very much. Where do you see Thailand's economic prosperity in the next 5 to 10 years? Is the next where's the next boom town? That's a good question, Tony. And thank you very much for the super chat. It's much appreciated as I'm sort of doing my best to keep things going here. Well, look, I actually do see a good future for Thailand. In many ways, we had 9 years of the junta, and then the junta-inspired government, the quasi-democracy. And some could argue that we've still got a quasi-democracy here with all the situation that happened because of the Senate making sure that the party that didn't win the most votes and the most primary votes didn't get elected. Some people still see it as somewhat of a sort of banana republic, but I see it a little bit more than that. I think we have turned a corner. And if you just sort of read the tea leaves, if you just read what some of the leading politicians are saying. Now, I know there's a lot of murmuring about what's happening with Thaksin and the fact that he'll probably be released, could be as early as January or February next year, and the comments the Prime Minister's made in the US whilst attending the United Nations General Assembly about seeking advice from Thaksin in the future. I just sort of think there is a general mood that we may have seen, I've got to keep everything in like this now, I can't do that. We may have seen the last military coup here in Thailand. Well, for the immediate future, I really just don't see any possibility of a military coup in the next I don't know, at least this parliament. I think we're going to see this parliament all the way through. Now, there could be some changes next year when we have a Senate election. But again, I sort of see that going through reasonably peacefully. There will be changes to the charter. And again, I still see those going through reasonably peacefully. Now, there's a lot of you out there that want the worst for Thailand. And everything that happens good here, you go, oh no, it's all corruption and it's all this and it's all that. It's much more nuanced than that. You can't say Thailand's this or it's that. It's always somewhere in the middle. But we are now, I think, got an opportunity with the makeup of the government, which includes some of the past, some of the future, and we've also got this new Prime Minister, who's not really a political animal. He is a former businessman. Now, he's put his stakes in the Thai Party, which has been the most popular political party in Thailand over the past 20 years by far. Excepting the last election when, of course, the Move Forward Party did get the largest number of primary votes. But historically, the Thai Party has been the party of the people, being the progressive party. Now, they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with Move Forward Party in the future. But historically, Thai and the Thai Party before them, with Thaksin Shinawatra as the Prime Minister, kept on getting elected every single time, except, as I mentioned, the last election. So I think they are very skilled at governing Thailand. And this new Prime Minister, he's got points on the board when it comes to business, and he's certainly taking a very business-like approach in just about everything he says. So I do see that we're in a better situation now, Tony, and I think that we've got a prosperous time ahead. Obviously, tourism is going to keep on picking up. The recession that was going to happen in different parts of the world looks like there's less chances of countries and economies going into recession than might have happened. And so, yeah, generally there is a feeling of some prosperity. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing life through rose-coloured glasses. I'm sure I'm going to get plenty of people disagreeing with me. Anyway, let's move on because a lot of other things to talk about. John D, Lang F Tan, Big Tony, yeah, the Snives. Kimo, hello and welcome to you. Short clips. Let's see any other questions here. Otherwise, I'll address some other questions from yesterday. Reed, Big Tony, even with the baht tanking against the American dollar, it hasn't really tanked. Its economy is solid enough to retire in. It's certainly still a great place to retire, given that there has been some discussions about changes in taxation. There's been changes about the discussions about changes in the visas. I mean, these things will continue to change. The tax system will evolve. We've got a new government. Of course, they're going to look at evolving and changing the tax environment here. And as far as the retirement visa is concerned, there haven't been that many changes over the last 20 years, really. So the whole immigration system is probably ready for a shake-up. Some things will be good, some things won't be so good. But you have to expect things will change from time to time. This is actually easier on the iPad, I've just discovered. And thank you very much to the Softail Stable. Good morning, mate. Best of luck with the new move. Do you ever see the Aussie dollar getting back to the 33 to 34 baht to the Australian dollar of the good old days? Those good old days back sort of in the mid-90s was when I first passed through Thailand and then visited it for about 3 months in, I think it was the year 2000. I think I was getting roughly 33 baht to the dollar at that time. Now it's languishing around 22 or 23 Australian dollars to the baht, baht to the Australian dollar. But I don't think we're going to be seeing anything like that. At the end of the day, we're sort of in this, what I think you can only describe as the Asian century. And it's now time for these former developing countries now to take their place on the world stage. And the Southeast Asian economies are all doing very well at the moment. I think a lot of Western governments are looking at what's happening with some Asian economies and saying, how the hell are they doing that? So even Thailand, which has had a pretty, well, with the changes of government and all that sort of stuff, I think they still maintained at about 2% GDP on average over the past year, which is still much better than a lot of Western economies. And other Asian countries are doing 3, 4, 5% GDP, annual GDP at the moment. So I think it is the Asian century. A lot of people have written about that, and that's the way that I see things. And a lot of optimism in different parts of Asia. Yes, I mean, they've got a long way to go, but they're starting from, well, it's sort of the post-colonial era, which was last century, recovering from that. And now I think you're going to see a lot of Asian economies really moving on and succeeding during this century. I won't be around to see a lot of it. But thank you very much. The Soft Tail Stable, not sure where you come from, but you're from Australia, and even at 22 baht to the dollar, it's still pretty good value here, depending on where you shop around, where you stay. And there are still discount airfares as well. Now, keeping my eye on the batteries because I don't have any chargers. So once I'm out of battery, everything's going to come to an end. Thank you very much for your kind donation, the Softail Stable. And also to Kevin Martin, thank you very much. And I'm planning on moving there at the end of the year. I appreciate all the information you spoon-fed me. Thank you, Kevin. Are you talking about Phuket or Thailand generally? Even Phuket, because even with all the traffic and everything, it's still a great place to live. I'm not going to miss the traffic. I won't mince my words there, but it's still a great place, and you can find places where you've got a lot of foreigners around you, or you can find places where you're very remote. I mean, you head out to the east, the northeast of the island, and there's very few homes around there. If you find something out there, you won't see a tourist at all. You can still go to beaches, I know, around the north of Phuket, and you won't see a tourist all day. So it's not as if it's just all crammed with tourists. Sure, if you go to Patong, if you go to Rawai, if you go to Kata Karon, up around Cheung Talay, Bang Tao, yeah, there's lots of tourists and you can get in amongst it if you go to those areas. I'm sure there's places in Pattaya where it's the same. You can find quieter areas, head on south, a little bit further south from Jomtien, and you'll find plenty of nice quiet areas and quiet beaches there as well. So good luck with your move, Kevin. Thank you very much for your kind thought with the super chat. But tell us if you are moving to Phuket or other parts of Thailand. Good morning, Tim from Ratchaburi. Hello to Black Hibiscus. M. Maranta, it's lonely at the, I think you mean the top. And we've also got Brett Border for cat treats. Thank you very much. From Canada, Brett, great to have you with us this morning. Appreciate your thought. The cats are around somewhere. They're not going to enjoy the move. But I'm not really enjoying the move much either. I keep on saying every time I do it, and I have moved, I think maybe 4 or 5 times since I've been living in Phuket. This will be the last time. I'm never moving again. And of course, there's always an opportunity that comes up that allows me or encourages me to move. This is one of the reasons, actually, that I keep on saying to people, don't buy, rent. It just gives you so much more flexibility, especially when you're moving to a foreign country. You don't want to be just arriving there, spend a couple of months and go, I'm buying that property and that's going to suit me. It may not. Things may change around you out of your control. I'd always advise, if you're going to be a foreigner living here, unless you've got circumstances which require you to buy a property, don't. I hear horror stories literally every day from fellow foreigners who just fall foul of one problem or another, be it a lawyer, be it a developer, be it a Thai girlfriend or a relationship that went wrong, and they lose their property, and they pretty much, in some cases, lose everything. So I just avoid the distress and rent, because rent, if you shop around, can be very, very cheap, and as I've discovered, it gives you a lot of flexibility. Just my thoughts. Thank you, Brett. I really appreciate that. And I will make sure the cats get a pat with your name on it. Shan says, what people don't get is Per Thai won by 20 seats in 2019, yet the Palang Pracharat finished second and formed the government. This time Per Thai finished second by only 10 seats. Nobody won. Well, that's right. Just because you get the highest number of primary votes or highest number of MPs in the lower house doesn't mean that you get to form the parliament. If you get more than 50% of the vote, then you can form the government. But if you don't get 50% of the vote, then the other parties can form a coalition against you and represent the highest number of people. So that's just the way the system works here in the Thai parliament. So it's not as if something shady happened. It was all within the 2017 constitution. It's just the way that representative type of democracy worked in the lower house. Now, of course, because the Prime Minister is decided by the combined lower and upper house, including the unelected Senate, that drew, I think, and probably deservedly so, quite a lot of international criticism. But I tell you what, I think we've ended up with quite a good Prime Minister. I like the cut of his jib. I like the way he walks, the way he talks, the way he interfaces with people. He's got a very professional demeanour, and I think he's doing well on the international stage during his first visit, only 3 or 4 weeks after becoming Prime Minister. He's saying all the right things, and he has the bearing of a person I think that Thais could look up to. Of course, he's got to put the points on the board, and that will be decided, I suppose, in the next few months. Dusty is a starving cat. Snives, no, Dusty's not. Dusty's does very well. The cats will be hanging around, I'm pretty sure, in the next 10 minutes or so, because they'll be looking for their morning treat, which they haven't had yet. David here in Ban Chang, I saw a small apartment for 1,200 Thai baht per month. There you go. That's not, sorry, Frank in Thailand. So yeah, you can still get some great deals. Now, if you're coming to Phuket at the moment and you go to some of the tourist locations, you're not going to get a cheap rent. But if you look around a bit further out of town, then yes, you will find good cheap rents. As this, it's complete furphy that Phuket is more expensive than anywhere else in Thailand. That's not true. Yeah, sure, Patong might be in other popular tourist areas, but you can find places in Phuket that are as cheap, well, maybe not as cheap as some parts, but a lot cheaper than people make out. And of course, you've also got the situation, and as I do, you can still get those 50 baht pad thais any day of the week. Han Schellenberg, reread, are you back in Isan? They're all talking to each other. Tim Scott. Thank you, Tim, very much for your kind support. Why is Tim Scott a name that I should know? Is he one of the presidential candidates? Is that a Tim Scott? I might have that all wrong. Maybe Paul Scott. I'm not following it that close. But thank you very much, Tim. I really appreciate it. And because you're Tim, you get a special big thank you. Were you Timothy when you were young? Bet you were. But thank you, Tim. I appreciate the super chat. Mike Rodriguez, Tim, how is the inflation there? My grocery bill in America seems to have doubled. It's been a bit lumpy, to be honest, Mike. Some things appear to have gone up, but in other areas, not so much. Doing my food shopping, I've noticed over the past year that there has been a rise, but I'm not going, oh my God, this has become so expensive from one week to another. When it comes to fuel, it sort of goes up and down with the oil prices, but the Thai government has got this cap on the diesel prices. And I think that's well suppressed a lot of inflation here in Thailand because, of course, a lot of food gets delivered by trucks run by diesel. A lot of deliveries for Lazada. Thank you, Lazada. Over the past 6 months, I've had so many things delivered, hundreds of packages by Lazada. So I think, this cap on the diesel prices has certainly helped to keep prices down. And suppressed the worst of inflation here in Thailand. So I don't believe it's been as bad here as it has been in some Western countries, just sort of reading some of the international news. Now, other viewers might have different thoughts who live here in Thailand. Certainly, some of the rental costs jumped up very early in the year here in Phuket, and some of them remain quite high. But again, that was not necessarily to do with inflation. That was just a sort of a local situation with a lot of Russian people arriving all at once, and that really pushed up a lot of the rental and the villa prices. I agree, Tim, renting is definitely the best policy. Thank you, Richard. I'll always push that. I think buying property in Thailand is fraught with a lot of potential problems. And unless you absolutely need to, it's just cheaper to rent. And you'll sleep a lot better at night, I can promise you that. Hope you survived the rain over the past night. Ray, thank you very much. I had the intention of showing some of the video. There was quite a lot of rain. Driving back from Phang into Phuket last night was horrible. At one stage, we were driving along a double-lane highway, a divider in the middle, perfectly good road, and everybody just stopped because it was raining so heavily. Even with the wipers going like this, we couldn't move. It was just torrential rain. Other times we were going through water about this deep. So I knew there were parts of Phuket, if they were getting the same rain, that were going to be flooded. So I hope everybody's okay. I haven't really read the news this morning, but wow, when we get those big downpours in the wet season, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Last night was one of them, and I hit it when I was coming from Phang through the north end of Phuket. Great roads, really good roads, but we actually had to stop at one stage. Big G, on Thursday, you read a news report about the King and Queen. Could you get in trouble for that? Oh, that was in relation to the King's second eldest son, who lives in America, visited Thailand with his younger brother about 2 months ago, and he visited a Les Majestés protest exhibition in New York. And he made some comments, and I read those comments out. It wasn't really reported here in Thailand, interestingly. The report I read was from CNN. It was also reported in Yahoo News. Potentially, I suppose I could get in trouble, but I didn't say anything derogatory about His Majesty the King or the royal family. I wouldn't, not whilst living here in Thailand, but I thought the story was interesting, and I don't know if anybody in the royal family would have found that tetchy or difficult. As a foreigner, I try and mind my P's and Q's when it comes to talking about the royal family, publicly, of course. But no, I wouldn't get in trouble for just mentioning that story. At the end of the day, I was just reading it out. I wasn't really commenting on that story. But good question, thank you. Rub butter on the cat's paws when you move, Gary says. Isn't that a bit of an old wives' tale? Now, I have been doing my YouTube research, and I have to say, nobody's talking about that these days, although my mother used to say that when we used to move the cats when I was younger, rub butter on the paws. I'm not sure what that does, except make your floor really messy. But I've been told you've got to keep them inside for a couple of weeks, 2 weeks. Now, I've actually got an enclosed backyard, so I've decided I'm going to let them have access to the backyard and not go through the trouble of cat litter and stuff. So I'm going to wing it, see how we go. I will be there all the time, but yeah, I hope the cats are going to be okay. We'll see. Okay, James Geyer, thank you very much. Much appreciated for the super chat and a comment. All the best for your move. Looking forward to returning to Chiang Mai in November. James, is that the best time to visit? Well, I mean, I suppose if you're going for a couple of months, it might be okay, but I'm thinking January, February, March, April gets pretty nasty up there with the air pollution. So, yeah, interested if you're going to be sticking it out for a few months up there in Chiang Mai, but good luck for your return to Thailand. David Spong, hi Tim. Who in Thai can I trust to help me retire from the USA? Well, you can do it yourself. You don't. You can just arrive here and go to the immigration department and do all the paperwork. I've always said, and I'll still say it, that if you do it for the first time and maybe you're a little bit unsure, you maybe should get a visa agent to help you that first time. And there are some very, very good visa agents. Now, every time I mention that, Clive Baxter, who I've blocked, by the way, hi Clive, he's just totally negative in just about everything he writes, not only about visa agents, but just about everything else. And I really just don't need any more negativity around here. But for the first time, I maybe would suggest getting a visa agent. Tell you what, send me an email at timnewtontoday@gmail.com, and I'll see if I can help you out. So good luck with that, and good luck with your retirement. And despite possible changes to retirement visas, nothing's been announced, by the way. Despite possible changes to the tax system, Thailand is still a great place to retire. Now, I'm going to be living up on a beach, like 60 meters from the water. And what I'm paying up there compared to what I'd be paying here in Patong, Miami, I mean, any, popular beach location in the world or any good beach, it's still a great place to retire, let me assure you. Okay, so David, good luck with that. Send me an email and I'll see if I can help you. Mohammed Wang says, Phuket is too expensive. No, it's not. That's a lie. Stop saying things like that. Depending where you go, if you go to a tourist location, yeah, okay, you're going to find it a bit more expensive because a lot of those tourist locations are very crafted and very skilled at getting money out of your pocket. But if you go to other parts of Phuket, Phuket's an enormous island, remember, it's larger than Singapore. You're not going to find it that expensive at all. I've lived here in a 4-bedroom house with a huge garden and a swimming pool for 20,000 baht a month. I don't think that's expensive. And I'm not the only one that's found a good place to rent at a reasonable price. So stop saying this complete nonsense that Phuket's too expensive. That's nonsense. Those block pattern shirts are the trend style in the fashion world right now, says Petaluma Brad. From jackets and shirts to slacks with contrasting colours and patterns, keep up with the fashion trends, Tim. I don't know, is it? I just sort of like them. Now I'm going to put a link in the description so you can find these shirts. I'm also going to keep some at the beach house. So when people visit the beach house, they can pick up one of these shirts if they'd like. I'm getting a bit of a stock of them. This one, by the way, is I'm swimming in this. This is an XL, so all the future ones I've ordered from the same place are L in the future. I think they'll fit me much better. But they are, just off the rack. They're not made for me. I just like them. I'm not sure if they're on trend or not. Siam Legal apparently is trustworthy. Yes, this is referring back to David. Yeah, if you contacted Siam Legal, they're very, very reliable, big company, a lot of lawyers working for them. So Siam Legal is a very safe place to go. But there would be cheaper solutions with a visa agent. So send me that email and I'll send you Siam Legal's contacts. They're very good people indeed. I can highly recommend them. Kimo, thank you very much. We've got some euro, first euro I've had for a while in the super chat. The Thai government has approved a decree promising Finns citizenship when they arrive in Thailand. That's not true. Kimo, I don't know where you've heard that, but that's certainly not true. I have no idea where you got that information from. Maybe if you've got a link to any information about that, you can send it to me. But I can assure you, Kimo, that that's not true. Citizenship, no. Not even permanent residence. So Kimo, sorry, that's inaccurate information. I'm not sure where you've got that, but please send me a link so I can follow it through and provide you with anything that I can find out about that. But there's no way the Thai government is giving Finnish people citizenship when they arrive. What else have we got here? Now I'm just going to go, I think this will work, to the other one here. Oh, does this work? Seeing if I can press... I can't get to the other comments that people sent me. Now I've lost my... Oh God, what a mess I'm in now. If I go back here... Yeah, people sent me information in the community section. Oh God, now this is not working. Just excuse me for a moment. I'll just sort myself out here. I've got to reload that. How do I do that? Something like that. Sorry about that. Anyway, yes, as I mentioned earlier, I'm working just with my iPhone and luckily the iPad, because I left my bag with my laptop and my microphone, all my notes and everything up in Thai Muang when I came back last night. I knew the rain was coming, so I was quickly rushing to get back, but I've arrived without anything. So luckily, I brought my phone. Luckily, it's got a bit of charge on it. I don't even have a charger. I've got this weekend off. Thank you very much for that, Ralph. Paul Sanger. Good luck on your move. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Cruising the Thai way, 4 years in Thailand. Never been so bored. Nothing to do other than drink way too much. Cruising the Thai way, you're not really trying. I mean, if you think all you've got to do is drink, then you've come to Thailand for all the wrong reasons. In fact, it's something that I say often to people, very often to people, is don't come and retire in Thailand unless you've got a bit of a plan of things to do. And things to do doesn't include dangling your feet under a bar, chatting to bar girls. I mean, you can do that for a short time, but if you keep on doing it, it's not going to end well. Let me just say that. And the reason I can share that with you is because there are tens of thousands of stories about people who came to Thailand for that particular reason and it didn't end well. And it's well documented on the internet. Thank you to the internet, something useful for once, saving people from having to go through that. So thanks, Kimo. Again, you don't need to thank me, but I'm pretty sure there's no way the government's providing citizenship for anybody just arriving in Thailand. So yeah, look, cruising the Thai way, there is so many things to do. There are clubs you can join. I mean, there are so many sports you can start. You can, I'm not even going to start there, but if all you're doing is drinking here, then maybe just turn around and go back home, because you can do that back in your home country. Why? Suppose the weather's better, except for last night. Han says, Siam Legal helped us get my wife's K1 visa. They were great to work with. Yeah, there's no doubt. Siam Legal are probably one of the better companies to contact regarding those sort of situations. I can't get to the comments, the questions that people sent in because of this setup I've got today, but I'm sorry about that. Let's just sort of go back a bit. Kevin Martin, I'm thinking Pattaya, but I'm going to nomad till I find a place, me and my 2 cats. Yeah, plenty of places in Pattaya to live. It's a popular tourist haunt. Beaches aren't so good, but at the end of the day, you're only 2 hours away from Bangkok, and yeah, you'll certainly run into plenty of expats there. Reread, I just got over 36 baht to the US dollar on yesterday's exchange. Yeah, I think it's been up around about 36 Thai baht to the US dollar for the past week. Doesn't seem to be going any higher right now. I get paid in US dollars by Mr. YouTube, so the US dollar, well, the comparison going a bit higher is good for me, but I understand it's not good for everybody. Richard, I agree, Tim. Renting is definitely okay. I've done that on Thursday. You read it. I've done that as well. Sorry, I'm just scrolling up through this. First time I've seen your live stream. Greetings from Perth. Hi, Gemmel. Usually it's that way, but today we're vertical because I'm working on my iPhone, which for some reason is not allowing me to turn it around. The new PM is a businessman, says Ralph Lewis, not a politician. What could possibly go wrong? Sarcasm. I think it's a good change. I mean, he's a fresh face. He came out of sort of nowhere. I'd never heard of him before. And when he became the Prime Minister and he made his first speech, I thought, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. If you want to have a look at his interview with Bloomberg, you can see him speaking in English. And when speaking to Bloomberg yesterday, he also made it quite clear that he was going to be, and shouldn't be any surprise to anybody, but they're going to be making some changes to the current cannabis situation here in Thailand. He said within 6 months that they will have a situation where they're going to outlaw the recreational use of cannabis, but they're going to maintain it for medicinal uses. Now, the Pertai party and a lot of other parties said that before the election. They were then elected, and the Prime Minister's been saying that quite a few times, and he reiterated it in that Bloomberg interview. So certainly the people who have gone out and invested in the cannabis industry, I think they're going to have to just check what they're doing and keep an eye on these changes in legislation, which are now about to happen. The new poem is just moving through. Jason Martin, let's let them re-establish a home territory so they don't go back to their old stomping grounds. Who? Sorry, I don't get to read all the comments here. Reread, I really miss the Thai food in Isan. Right now I'm in the Philippines and it just doesn't compare. Yeah, a lot of people say that. So yeah, good on Thai food, and I think I would certainly miss it. I eat at least 2 Thai meals a day. Breakfast, I can't do the Thai food. I do still like my eggs on toast or my muesli and yogurt and stuff like that, and fruit. So I think, yeah, I'll be happy just maintaining my 2 Thai meals a day. So James, I thanked you, didn't I? Thank you, yes. Okay, Phuket is overpriced. John, again, stop with the rubbish. Phuket is not overpriced. If you think it's overpriced, you're simply not going to the right places. If you want to hang around Patong, yeah, okay, you're going to be paying tourist prices. But Patong is not Phuket. It's about 3% of the land mass of Phuket, and that's about it. A question from Robbie. I know you bought the Benz, great choice, but are you still considering an EV? Interesting question, Robbie. Yes, I've got the blue Benz. It's currently getting a few things updated on it. It was, it's a 1983 pale blue Mercedes-Benz, and I love it. It's a lovely car to drive, but it is getting a little bit of work done on it to sort of bring it up to scratch. The fuel gauge doesn't work. One of the brakes on the right side at the front squeals. What else? The dashboard doesn't light up at night. Just a few things like you get in an old car. Now, what I'm doing is with my new Airbnb with the beach house, I'm renting out my Honda HR-V. And I've got quite a few bookings for the Honda through the next 3 or 4 months. Such that I'll have the Benz, but that's really only just to pick up people at the airport. I'll keep that in a garage and keep it for that occasion. It's not a day-to-day car. So I am looking for an EV. I mean, heaven forbid owning 3 cars, but it just may be that I'll need to look at a small EV, and I've been driving a few of them recently, and I have to say I am mightily impressed with some of these new EVs. It will definitely be an EV, there's no doubt about that. some of these cars coming out of China, and all you China haters, go for it, I don't care. But they're making some sensational cars. And I know the Havals, for example, which were one of the first EV hybrids that arrived here in time, they're going strong. People still loving them. And they're running really well and proving the reliability of some of this latest batch of Chinese cars coming out of that country. And a lot of them in the future will be built in Thailand. There are battery plants being built here, so I think the Thai automotive industry is pivoting quite quickly to EVs. And all I can say is that if governments around the world sort of want to sit back and go, oh, no, we don't like EVs, they're going to be left behind. There's no doubt that the EVs are the future. There's just no doubt at all. And, you can keep reading your newspapers, you can keep putting your CDs into your old CD player and try and think that the world isn't changing. But we are going EVs. Now, some of the early technology, maybe a little bit dodgy. Hello, Dina. Are you going to come and say hello? Maybe, maybe not. But the technology will continue to improve, and it will continue to improve quite swiftly. And I'm sure the next generation, by the time I'm ready to buy a car, maybe next year, will be even better. The cars will go further. What are they called? The minerals, the construction of the batteries will be more environmentally appropriate, and they'll have better ways of disposing with them. And all those early problems, they will work through those things. So some of the things you heard about electric vehicles 5 years ago, maybe you just got to sort of let those go and look at the current crop of cars. Just getting in them and driving them, they are a sensational driving experience. Beautifully put together. And I've had a lot of cars in my life, and I think I know roughly what I'm talking about. Some of them are really good cars. I'll mention value for money, the MG4, which is from MG, which was an old British brand, but bought by the Chinese. And they've been making some well-priced hybrids, and now they've got this all-electric MG4, and it's a pocket rocket and a nice-looking car, nicely put together. A little bit plasticky inside, but at value for money, it's like the price of a hot hatch. Full electric, great car. Anyway, I'm sure I'll get some hate for all that. Kimo did that. Kimo, yes, what else? Oh, I've got plenty more questions here. Okay, Mike Fit. Aussie dollar is... Okay, what is it? Okay, so it is some people being blocked by YouTube, and it appears for good reason. Petaluma Brad, when will the international airfares drop back to pre-pandemic times? Granted, the cost once we got to Thailand more than makes up for the almost double airfares. Petaluma Brad, I'm not sure what that means, but I don't think the airfares are going to come down. Look, you can get some cheap airfares. If you have a look hard, I've got a friend coming up at the start of November, got a really good airfare from Australia to Thailand. But universally, yes, it's quite expensive at the moment. And I don't think the average airfare is going to be coming down for at least the next 2 or 3 years, that I can sort of see roughly what's happening. There are less planes in the sky. Passengers, people still seem to be wanting to travel, and the airlines are still, I think, catching up. There's a lot of changes, a lot of airlines looking to buy newer, more economical planes. I don't think the airfares are coming down. That's my opinion. If anybody disagrees with me, please tell me. But I don't think the airfares generally are going to be coming back to pre-pandemic levels in the short term. Maybe not even in the long term. That's just my thoughts. You can play with dolls like Steve. I won't be playing with... He doesn't... They're action figures. Steve is a very talented guy, creative, and he's got this great gig doing stories with these action figures. I'm sure he'd like to do it with real people, but that of course costs a bit more money. So he's doing these stories with these action figures, and he does an astonishing job. But no, probably won't be joining in. Not because I don't want to, it's just Steve does that by himself. Agree with Chris Leon, Thailand is rich with things to do. I've been there 12 times for more than a month each time, never been in a bar. Yeah, James, there's a lot more to Thailand than the bars, and most of the people that come to Thailand probably don't go anywhere near a bar. There are bars, I don't know if people are aware of this, in other countries. So if you come to Thailand to do things you wouldn't do in your home country, because there's so many things to see here. I've been living in Phuket for 12 years, and until 4 months ago, I'd never heard of Thai Muang, better known as Turtle Beach. And it's only 20 minutes north of Phuket. I'd been to Natai Beach, I'd been to Koh Loi, I'd been to Khao Lak, but that little bit in between, never been there. And I did. And I went there and loved it. Looking for 2 or 3 bedroom house with a garage and garden space. Does Thailand have a rental listing for Chumpon area, cruising the Thai Way? I don't know how you'd find a listing up there. You might have to jump on onto Facebook, onto some of those groups, and just say, where can I find listings for properties around Chumpon? But you will find a 2 or 3 bedroom house with a garage and a garden space in Chumpon, I'm guessing for between 10 and 20,000 baht a month. Easily. If you're paying more, you need to look elsewhere. The best thing to do generally with real estate, the way I found the last couple of properties, is just to, and it does take some time, some homework, is to jump in a car and drive around, speak to people. If you want to look for listings in Thai Muang, you're going to be you're going to be very unhappy. There just aren't any. The way you find things in many parts of Thailand is just to jump in a car or a motorbike, drive around, talk to people. They'll all have a friend who has a property for rental. Don't you worry about that. Okay, yeah, if you do come to Thailand and you rent from one of the listings, from one of the big real estate websites, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you will be paying a much higher price. I can say that with authority. Mr. Sweeney, looking for an empty apartment. Yes, Mitch. Hi, Tim. You have an excellent speaking voice. Just saying, nice to hear. Thank you, David. I can't really thank anybody for it. I suppose my parents, their DNA are just what I'm stuck with. Good luck on Turtle Beach, says C2J. Off to Mackay Coffee, and don't forget to stop by Aquella. So, yes, Mackay Coffee, a great little coffee shop in the middle of the Thai Muang village. Aquella is the golf course. Now, I haven't actually driven in there yet. I mean, I don't play golf, but a lot of people will be playing golf in there that come and stay at our beach house. It's a beautiful golf course looking out across the Andaman. So I will go in there, might even see if I can get the drone up and get a few shots. So yeah, plenty of things to see around Thai Muang. Bars, nightclubs? No. Coffee shops, great little restaurants, fantastic international golf course. Yep, we've got that. My battle is Los Angeles is not eating too much. This is from Bayou Tom on the loose again. LA, what did I say there? My battle in the land of smiles is not eating too much. Yeah, the Thai food, it looks healthy, but you can certainly eat too much of it. It's laced with all sorts of sugars and salts and MSG, and tastes amazing, but it's not terribly good for you. So you do need to be careful what you eat in regards to Thai food. There's like hundreds of different things that you can eat, so don't always go to the same restaurant and always order the pad Thai. There's plenty of other things you should try have a look what they're bringing out to the customers around you. I think I'll try that. Sort of what I do. How much pushback do you think they will get from the cannabis industry, says Kevin Martin? Look, there are, I think during the week they reported there are some 6,000 dispensaries that have opened around Thailand. From the very start, I thought these people were jumping the gun because at no stage did they ever say that marijuana will be recreational or able to be used recreationally. That was never stated. All they did was they decriminalised cannabis. Well, not even that. They just delisted it from the narcotic 5 list. So a lot of these people jumped the gun. Then the Pumjai Thai Party tried to push through a cannabis bill, which sort of listed the way that they saw things operating, but it was sent back 5 times. It was only the Pumjai Thai Party that wanted to see recreational use. Now they've even doubled back on that and said, no, they only want to see medicinal use. So even the Pumjai Thai Party, the people that authored that original decriminalisation of cannabis, want to see it only for medicinal use. So the idea of recreational use becoming a flourishing industry in the future in Thailand will not be happening with this parliament. And I think they're going to have to find something to do with these retail shops. I think they'll probably give them a time in which they can, or a sort of an amnesty, maybe for 6 months or even up to a year, but eventually they will have to close if the government comes up with this legislation as they're suggesting. It will be interesting to see how they handle it because a lot of people have thrown a lot of money behind this. But from the very start, I knew the people were jumping the gun and they were throwing a lot of good money away by assuming a lot that hadn't been announced at the time. They will get some pushback, there's no doubt, and we'll just have to see how it rolls out. I'll be as interested as you, Kevin, to see how they actually handle a pretty tricky situation. Will it affect tourism? Not at all. Will people who smoke cannabis continue to do so? Yeah, they will, and they'll get it exactly where they've got it from for the past 10 years. Save the airfare and drink from home, you would lose all your money and peace of mind. Save the airfare and drink from home, you would lose all your money and peace of mind, says Black Hibiscus. Yeah, if you want to come to Thailand and enjoy the bar life, there are some temptations in there that are uniquely and very skillfully evolved to extract the maximum amount of money from your pocket, both in the short term and the long term. Brace for impact. Outlaw weed in the same way they outlawed the trade in ladies of the night, says Bobby Crush. Well, they never did. When they say prostitution is illegal in Thailand, it's not actually written anything like that. And there are going to be some changes to I'm not sure what I think that's the Sex Worker Act or something, but there are some changes in that regard. But prostitution itself isn't strictly illegal in Thailand. So they never tried to outlaw ladies of the night. In fact, this new act that will probably come before Parliament before the end of this year will, if it do not legalise it, it will at least give a framework in which sex workers can be properly protected and properly remunerated. Right on the storm, Kayushu says, wait, Tim, you and Steve Ross are going to be roommates. The Odd Couple, no, we're not going to be roommates. Love catching up with Steve. Living in the same house together, one of us would be dead within a couple of days, I'm pretty sure. But we will not be roommates. But of course, I'll still keep enjoying catching up with him. Good morning, Tim. Late night last night. I'm also late joining, says Andrew Gin. Ray Bond, have the tent and chairs gone from the front of your new place? Yes, Ray, we had a... just checking the time. Oh my God, I've been going for an hour. it was very inconvenient for one of the grandmas to die next door to us at the beach house. And so the whole funeral thing sort of went into action, including a huge marquee that stretched, I don't know, maybe 100 metres along the road, where people would come and pay their commiserations and they would enjoy some food. And there was blaring music and plenty of people arriving. I went and paid my respects, and they did ask me, is it okay if we do all this? I said, yeah, cool. No worries. Yeah, Thai funerals, they last for a week. But yes, on Thursday this week, as the funeral procession started to move down the road, obviously towards the nearest temple, the people swept in and it was all gone within about 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes before, there were marquees and there was silk and it was all set up and tables and chairs, gone in 5 minutes. So I do have my view back. Thank you for asking. Geez, so many comments. I'm sorry I've been just lax in getting through things here. Kimo, also, tomorrow's coffee to you and Steve. Thank you very much, Kimo. I really appreciate your ongoing support, and thank you for that. The Softail Stable, mate, on the subject of drones. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Was it difficult to navigate the rules? I haven't brought mine back to Phuket in case it gets confiscated. Okay, well, my latest drone, I don't have it licensed. Look, I'm just very discreet with it. It's only a small drone, and they're so cheap these days. Oh, look, I don't think generally the police are going to be coming and confiscating your drone unless you're sort of using it perhaps where you shouldn't do it, or where it might be perhaps unsafe or unwise to use it in a particular location. But if you're discreet and you're in a remote location, you're not going to have any problems. So I did at one stage get my drone registered, but that was 3 or 4 drones ago. So the one I've got at the moment is a tiny little thing. It's in a box here somewhere. Everything's in a box here somewhere at the moment. And it's going to be getting a flight next week. Thank you very much to the Softail Stable. But look, if you are going to be using it in busy locations, in tourist areas, then I perhaps would do your best to make sure it is registered. Phil Clark is a bastion of knowledge when it comes to these things. You'll find Phil, I think he's Helicam Phil. You'll find him on Facebook and he'd be able to answer these questions. He's been using drones professionally for a long time, extremely professional, one of the best operators around Thailand. So Helicam Phil, find him on Facebook and ask him. Helicam, Helicam. I'll be seeing Phil and one of his offspring next week. Stephen Pavey. So in 12 months, we will see 6,000 new coffee shops or mini bars. That'll work and probably not noticed. Yeah, look, I think because it's going to be for medicinal use only, a lot of these dispensaries will magically find a person who's able to write scripts on the spot. There's going to be workarounds. There's going to be a way of massaging this legislation. People will find their way around it, but it is going to be different from what it is now. But you're probably right, we're going to see a few additional coffee shops with a person sitting on the corner with a doctor script. Cruising the Thaiway, the wife and I spend about 20 hours a week for the last 6 months looking for a house to rent, checking Facebook listings, talking to realtors, can't find a house in Chumpon. Don't want to be near the beach. I don't think you're trying hard enough. I'd be very surprised. There'd be plenty of places to rent in Chumpon, surely. I don't know. I can't really help you. I'm not in Chumpon, but I'd be very, very surprised if you can't find a place to rent there, or anywhere in that part of anywhere around Thailand. There's plenty of places to rent. I mean, if all these condos are being bought at the moment, a lot of those are going to be going out for rental. There are places to rent. No worries about that. You might like Chiang Rai, Tim. I do like Chiang Rai. I've been there before. Man, I haven't been there for about 5 years, but I look forward to getting back. It won't be for the first 4 months of any year. However, Bill G, is the update clip and music going to be a regular addition to your daily reporting? Kind of annoying in my opinion. Did not seem like you were keen on it either. Look, Bill, just very briefly, yesterday, nobody wanted to talk about the stories. They were just talking about my shirt and about that update clip. Now, when I sift through the news stories every day, I sort of have to categorize them into, oh, these are political stories, these are some regional stories, here's some stories which relate to, oh, these are some updates. So yesterday I had 4 updates on the cannabis situation, on what the Prime Minister was doing in the UN. There were updates on stories that I'd reported on the days before. So I thought, it just clicked into my mind very quickly that I used to, when I was young, watch TV in the 1960s. And there used to be a used car dealer in Melbourne called Kevin Dennis. And he did this advertisement which had this really catchy and annoying jingle called Update Your Car at Kevin Dennis, Update. And had all these horrible sort of 1960s, well, pretty cute now, graphics and stuff. It was even in black and white. That's how old it was. So I thought, oh, I'll just download. I knew I could find it on YouTube, and I found it, and I thought I'll just cut the update and I'll put that at the start of each of the updates. I'm not going to do it every day. It was just for yesterday. It was just for fun. Some people said, I'm unsubscribing. I hate the update thing. I'm never going to watch you again. Oh, whatever. So, yeah, if you put on a different shirt or you change the painting behind you or you do anything different, people are out of their comfort zone and they get very upset. Things will change from time to time. I don't like the update clip, says D. Sandy. Don't worry, you're probably never going to see it again. I might come up with another silly idea one day and throw a bit of a curved ball at you. Good heavens. I thought the same. Thought it would be easier to find. Oh, so we're talking about a different thing now. Yes, Robbie, update your car at Kevin Dennis. So if you want to see the clip, Robbie, just type in update Kevin Dennis. It's on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. Any predictions for rugby today, says Anthony Hatcher. I've got no idea. I don't even know who's playing. I'm not a great fan of rugby. I know a lot of people are. But coming from Melbourne, I'm a bit of an Australian rules fan. But good luck for your team, Anthony. And I don't have any predictions. Maybe other people in the comments section will. Please expand on the Ross. Please expand on the Ross. I don't understand what you mean there. Hank Nonchinaski says, meanwhile, I can walk into a 7-Eleven and buy enough recreational alcohol to kill a family. Hank, this is sort of an oft suggested argument against people who are anti-cannabis. What about alcohol? What about heroin? What about all these other drugs? For whatever reason, they have become both legal and in some ways socially acceptable. Now, whether we want another legal and socially acceptable drug I'll let the politicians decide on that. So it's a bit of a silly argument to say just because one drug is already bad, cigarettes, for example, that their drug is somehow good. Just because it's legal and it's been around for a while and we've discovered the ills and the problems with it, doesn't mean that we need another one to add to the situation. So I think if you want to talk about the problems of cannabis or the problems of alcohol and stuff, there are plenty of forums to do that. But we're talking about a legislative framework. And that's the only argument here in Thailand. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's harmful, whether it's not, is completely irrelevant. All we're talking about is the legislative framework and what's happening with the politicians to decide whether it's going to be for medicinal use, for recreational use, as a policy decision. Whether it's good for you or not, I'm not even slightly interested in your opinion on that. You can go and discuss that with your friends. All I'm here is to discuss what the Thai government is going to be doing with it and what decisions they're going to be made, and try and pass that on along with some commentary and leave it at that. If it's harmful or not, or other drugs are harmful or not, is not for this forum. You need to go and get some research in front of you and go and argue with that with your friends if that's going to make you feel good. Going to watch the Broncos versus the Warriors at Suncorp Stadium tonight. Not a Kiwi and live in Brisbane, but want to see the Kiwis win, says the Softail Stable. So it must be an Australian game between an Australian team and a New Zealand team. I'm sorry I'm not up with it. I've missed that. Thailand, go look at episodes from a month ago. Not sure what we're talking about. Anyway, there you go. So, sorry about the vertical thing. Sorry about the mishmash of topics. I've just had my iPad and my iPhone. The battery's going to run out soon. I've left all my equipment up in Thai Muang. So I'll get it today, and I've got to get it so I can edit the Grumpy Old Men program for tomorrow. And we recorded it in blistering rain. It was pissing down. And we were battling to make ourselves heard. I'm not sure how it's turned out. I haven't had a look at it. But I'll be getting to that today. I might have to try and filter out some of the background noise. My God, every time we try and record the program, it's either windy or it's rainy. I suppose it's that time of the year, isn't it? Anyway, we did get one in the can, and I'm not sure if it's usable or not. But I'll get to that later today. I am moving tomorrow. I'm not sure what's happening with Monday's program. I'm assuming everything will be okay. We'll get a program out one way or the other. But for now, I really appreciate your time. Thank you to all those people for their super chats. Really appreciated. And I'll do my best to keep on bringing you a decent program every day. And yeah, are there changes in the future with TNT? At the moment, nothing in particular. I just need to get up there, get my feet under the desk. I'll have a little bit more spare time once I'm not doing all this renovation and driving up and back every day. So we might look at I'm trying to start another channel which will be focused on health for people over the age of 50. I've had this sciatica issue, and I know a lot of people are seeking assistance and guidance and perhaps a few suggestions on a number of matters. And now I'm moving into that age group where things are going to start going wrong. I'm obviously interested in trying to get the best out of my life in the future as well. So I'm looking at perhaps starting a channel and speaking to some people who are in that same situation, seeing what they're doing with their life and with various ailments, and how to live a good life once you're over 50, 60, 70, 80. Thanks for watching today. Sorry about the mess. I don't even know how to turn this off. No, there's no off button. How do I turn it off? I'll figure it out. The phone might go crazy. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Do I press that? No, that doesn't work. Oh, good God. I actually don't know what I'm going to press. Share, cancel, mute microphone, save, highlight. There is nothing here that tells me what I can press to turn this off. Who would have known? Do I press that? No. Just turn the phone off. I think that's a good idea. Yes, the ailment channel, Tim. We'll get to that, man. I'm trying to figure out how to turn this off. There is nothing on the screen that says off. If I press that button, all you're seeing is my great big thumb. Nothing there. Scroll up, nothing. There's nothing in the menus. Plus, what do I press? Start a poll. Creator tools. No, I don't really need those. Cancel. Save highlight.